This is Group 2's concrete beam testing. Team members are Clarissa Dubs, Ethan Francisco, Ayana Johnson, and Belina Nguyen. In this clip, Clarissa loads the concrete beam with a cross-section of 2 inches by 2 inches and a span of 40 inches. The bucket itself weighs 1.8 pounds and each brick weighs 4.6 pounds. When the bucket can't hold any more bricks, she directly loads the center of the beam. Due to the beam being non-reinforced with any tensile material, the beam starts to crack in between the point load and the end of the beam. The unreinforced beam undergoes a shear compression failure and snaps. When the brittle beam hits the floor, it breaks again. Due to a lack of any wire or mesh, the beam broke into multiple parts in a brittle state. All of the concrete beams used in this project have the same formwork. However, the non-reinforced concrete beam we used was particularly strong because the concrete mix had a higher concentration of cement compared to the other beams. In this recording, Ethan loads 18 bricks into the mesh-reinforced concrete beam. A few hours later. Once 18 bricks have been successfully loaded onto the mesh-reinforced beam, which is a load of 84.6 pounds, the beam starts to deflect, which creates a central hinge, ultimately leading to a lateral bending failure.
There we go.
Okay.
Now it's time for our final test, where we use 3 steel wires in the same standard formwork of the concrete beam. Surprisingly, this test would actually yield the weakest result out of all the concrete beams tested. Some factors that could have led to this weaker result are not letting the concrete cure for long enough or having an improper cement to water ratio. In slow motion, we see that the wire-reinforced concrete beam goes through failure mode. This beam holds less weight than the non-reinforced beam, and a central hinge forms due to the weaker tensile strength, and lateral bending failure ensues. To conclude, there are a few aspects of this project that could have benefited from a more scrutinous approach to ensure more controlled outcomes. For instance, we did not have the same ratio of water to cement mixture for our non-reinforced beam compared to the reinforced beams. This is because our non-reinforced beams kept breaking when we used the same ratio of cement to water. As for the wire-reinforced beam, the problem was that the test is that the wires were fully embedded when they should have protruded out of the span of the beam, so the wires could be fastened and held in tension. This is what we learned.